We got a big time storm coming to Terrace, coming to the north coast of British Columbia. Got some rainfall warnings already in effect. Let's have a look at all the details on the Bad News Show for the 13th of January 2025. I'm Joey Only, the Caribbean Weather Dude. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and come back again. All right, let's go.
There it is. This is bad news. My God. Anything could happen. Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later.
Let's start off today by looking at the Bad News Bad Weather Battle Board. Heavy rain expected at times. Where's this? Well, that's for inland from Prince Rupert. Looking at this evening until Tuesday evening, 50 to 60 millimeters of rain. An approaching Pacific frontal system will bring heavy rain to inland sections of the north coast near Stewart. The rain will begin this evening and will ease Tuesday afternoon with 50 to 60 millimeters expected. Heavy downpours can cause flash flooding. Of course, some of this is going to fall as snow in some of these places, especially along the highway and whatnot as you go up and down different elevations. So we will try to have a look at that as we get into the show. South Klondike Highway, still 20 centimeters up to 30 centimeters by Tuesday afternoon. Snowfall warning for you down there. Always bad weather in that part of the world. Been pretty cold. Well, extreme cold warning now. Temperatures of minus 30 with winds of 15 kilometers an hour have led to extreme wind chills in southern Manitoba, particularly the Brandon, Manitoba area, Souris, Manitoba, right? Temperatures will moderate through the day Tuesday as a low pressure system crosses through northern Manitoba. Extreme cold puts everybody at risk. We got the never-ending storms of Ontario this year. Been really, really spectacular. We got that lake effect snow making 20 to 30 centimeters still up through the Bruce Peninsula. 50-kilometer winds may result in local blowing snow. This will continue into Tuesday for coastal areas along Georgian Bay, Lake Huron. That includes Manitoulin Island right now, who's getting 15 centimeters most likely tonight. And, near the Sault Ste. Marie area, we're looking at 15 to 20 centimeters. Parry Sound region, 30 to 60 centimeters. Unbelievable. It's just really has no intention of stopping in Ontario anytime soon. If you remember me in my forecast yesterday saying that Fort Nelson doesn't necessarily get the kind of January thaws you were accustomed to seeing in southern British Columbia, have a look at this juicy detail on the battle board tonight. A new warm temperature record of 6.7 degrees broke the old one of just below, maybe -1. That was 2002. They've been keeping records in Fort Nelson since 1937. Holy shit, man. 6.7 degrees. That's crazy. Okay, that was for today. Sandspit area, 11.2 degrees. That just nudges past their old one there. They've been keeping records since 1945 in the Sandspit region. We do have in the Yukon warm temperature records 2.9, set in the Carmacks area, 3.5 in Faro, 5 in Mayo. Mayo was -49 not even a week ago, I do believe. Dawson City sitting there just above zero. 1986 is when they set the old record, which was still -2.4. Beaver Creek there, 4.7 degrees in Beaver Creek today. No, nothing to see here. Nothing at all. Nothing going on. Well, here's North America, at least today. See that nor'easter there just off the coast of Newfoundland? It's taken off nicely. Lots of lightning down there at the bottom of that comma. And you can tell a little bit of a baroclinic zone there, of course. And that dry slot in behind. So some strong winds down there around that storm, but not really affecting anybody right now. A little bit of low pressure there in Ontario, making for some of that snowfall. Localized. Most of that is just basically coming straight off the lake, as we've been telling you. Lake effect snow does. And go look at BC. We got a little bit of an atmospheric river now coming towards the north coast. Right now, the low is slid up into Alaska Panhandle, and it is sliding on down. Luckily, it seems to be distributing its moisture nicely as it rolls down. Well, right now, it's been kind of stalled the north coast today into Alaska Panhandle, I should say, spilling a little bit of that snow into northern BC. And that atmospheric river is expected to make its way down southerly and start to impact the mid-coast, north coast, places like that. Maybe even a little bit of northern tip of Vancouver Island over the next few days. That should help make a new low, I would think, that will manifest itself into an Alberta Clipper at some point, but we'll get to that. As you can see, strong low 980 out there, well off the coast of Japan. And you can see another weaker low in behind, but it is developing nicely. So we still have that Pacific storm train rolling. I know we got some colder temperatures expected to be coming at us in the next little while, but we do have the advantage of at least having the Pacific train here for us here in British Columbia. So that should help us. We will look at some of the other things as we go. But tonight we're really talking about the North Coast and what they're expecting. But for now, we have a look at some modeling here from GDPS, Canadian modeling, and we're going to watch how this atmospheric river makes its way on down the coast there. As you see for Tuesday morning now, overnight into Tuesday, that hitting solidly into Prince Rupert, into Terrace, a little bit into Haute-Gouaille, taking some of that precip, that hose, just working its way down nicely, sharing its moisture, so dropping a lot. Going to back itself back up to and then form that little low, and that little low will bring that snow into northern BC. And we're going to watch a little bit of that try to creep into southern BC, but not significant. No, not significant. Our real story for the next little while after this is probably going to be waiting for something. Well, if this happens, that's good news. If we get this low next week that GDPS is expecting, that would be great for us and our temperature expectations. That would mean we have limited time in the deep cold for those of us, at least in southern BC. There seems to be a lot of different opinions on how things are going to play out here because we have so much rain expected in the Terrace. How much rain and how much snow? I've looked at some different models, and some models say 8 centimeters of snow, and some say 76. Right, and then they all have high rainfall totals. So whatever's going on inland, I would think if you're going up and down highways at different elevations, depending on what time of night, depending what the actual temperature on the ground ends up being, depending on how much snow you're going to take here. But as you can see, up the north coast, we are looking at, wow, look at that fire hose. Boof. And then we'll watch how that kind of works its way down into BC. Looks like the Caribou here. Looks like I can expect some snow in Wells. Looks like on the north side there, maybe towards McBride, on the other side of the mountains as well, up that Highway 16 corridor. But really, nothing too bad. Doesn't mean that roads will be perfect, but this is good. If we have secondary storms hitting in, like we seem to see in this modeling, that will really change our temperature expectations. Well, we can have a quick look at the temperature expectations right now and try to get a little bit of a grasp on it, right? But we have extreme cold moving in to the prairies very, very soon. Again, reestablishing itself. Keep in mind this is in Fahrenheit, those numbers, 42 and whatnot. That's warm. The green shows that it's warm. Temperature's warm, that coastal pounding, helping bring warmth to us. Cold there moving in from the north and from the east, so we may see some pretty bitter temperatures this weekend in the southern BC. But look at Fort Nelson taking it really, really hard. Look at it's really, compared to what you're going to be seeing on the Alberta side of the mountains, it's really positive for us. I think we'll see warm-ups during the day a little bit at least. This won't be the most extreme temperatures that we have ever seen in BC. And then look at, bam, back into a nice moderation. So I called it a couple days ago if this happens, and this is realistic, I think. You watch that atmospheric river there making its way, sliding down the coast tonight. So everyone's got a slightly different idea about how it's going to work out, but it seems pretty apparent that it's happening one way or the other. So how much snow you get, Terrace, how much rain you get, that's really seems to be kind of up in the air. Forecast certainty across the board. The different modeling seems to have a bunch of different solutions to that. But one thing we know for sure, those heavy winds be working its way down into you by Tuesday morning. Going to be pounding some pretty strong winds and surf there, I'm sure, near Prince Rupert area. If not, Prince Rupert yourself. Looks like now down towards the Kitimat area a little bit more after that. But heavy rounds of snow into Tuesday. Maybe a touch into these Caribou Mountains. That showed up yesterday in the modeling. Looks like it will again. So probably going to get, that doesn't seem like significant snow to me. It looks like some flurries. But you know how it is here in the mountains? You see that signal and it says a little bit of snow. It ends up usually being more prolonged than it lets on. Fair enough. But there's our atmospheric river kind of working its way down the coast, and it's going to more or less help itself into development of another low. Right. Here's this guy moving up into Alaska. So some different solutions. Looks like everything's a little bit on the line. It seems like the models don't really know how to predict what's going to happen with these temperature expectations that are coming in. Well, look at that's still pretty warm by Tuesday night into Wednesday for much of even Alberta, much of even Saskatchewan. So this low up there in the far north that's kind of making its way towards Churchill, that's helping bring temperatures up for you guys in the prairies after some pretty bitter experiences you've been having. But hey, don't worry, because those bitter experiences are coming back. You're not going to necessarily have a long period of warmth. Northern BC taking that snow off and on over the next few days. That is happening. But how much of that makes its way into southern BC? Looks like even some rain into Prince George. So people have been complaining about this. This low is going to pop its way on over. Going to try to. But again, making it snow into northern BC for Wednesday. And maybe Thursday we'll see this tail a little bit interact with BC when it comes in. Wednesday night, that's again pretty solid snow into areas south of Terrace, maybe near Bella Coola and the Coast Mountains there. Northern BC seeing a fair bit. Maybe Fort Nelson seeing some significant snow overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Up and down the Coast Mountains, a mix of rain and snow in place depending on your elevation. Further inland, most likely snow for you. That's more or less your Alberta Clipper trying to form out of there. Maybe you could call it that. I did earlier at least. So that will bring a line of snow across northern Alberta. But watch what's going to happen in the wake of this low, because lows move counterclockwise. So it's going to start bringing, once it moves on out, it's going to start bringing colder air in its wake in behind it. So watching how a little bit of that snow plays out on Thursday morning. Maybe if you got to go up over Revelstoke Pass, maybe if you got to travel into the Pine Pass, you're going to see moments of that. Maybe if you're going up towards Fort Nelson still in BC, maybe if you're in the Coquihalla at times on Thursday, you're going to see wet, messy conditions. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll see snowfall warnings. I don't think we're going to see a lot of snow in that regard, but snow nonetheless. And in the wake of this, we're looking at colder air that's going to want to move in. And because more or less our snow story starts to end by then, I think. Well, that high pressure now sitting right up along the coast. So looking like by the weekend, some cooler temperatures into BC. That remains to be seen how long that will stay for. But you really get the impression that we're going to get a little bit of it, at least a little bit of it. But that's not terrible. These are just below zero into Friday night. So it's, I think, as you get deeper in the weekend, that we're going to see this cold air in the wake of that low start to make its way down, start to get stretched down, pulled down, and delivered into more and more southern places. We talked yesterday about how it's probably going to make its way as far south as Mexico, that we may see some snowstorm stories in southern parts of the states that are not used to them. Saturday night, looking pretty nasty for you, Fort Nelson. I'm sorry, Prince George. Maybe you're okay for into Saturday morning, but that cold air is trying to make its way to you. So we are looking at maybe some chillier temperatures, maybe into the minus 20s overnight by the time you hit the dawn Saturday morning, I should say. But yeah, we'll be thankful, because you look at what's coming to other people in other parts of Canada. We're probably going to get fairly lucky. I think. Maybe Sunday night be a really cold night. Maybe, I'm sure one of these nights, Saturday night, into Sunday morning, one of these nights is probably going to be the coldest night, it looks like, because by the time, even by Sunday, minus 18s in Prince George, probably looking at some chillier temperatures. But even then, by Monday now, models are starting to show that going to see more coastal moderation, more help from the Pacific pounding of those storms that want to keep coming in. And we might see record temperatures again next week in BC. So we're watching the cold story. I've been voting for Pacific moderation, and most likely going to be correct about that, because so far every time this year I have been. That's why you watch Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel, because I tend to be correct a lot. And if I'm not correct, I'll admit it. I'm willing to admit it. I'm willing to improve. I like improvement, right? And you admit you're wrong. That's how you learn. That's how you're never wrong again. That's what I say. So hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, come back again, and we'll do our best to see you tomorrow with another forecast of some sort and more content here on the Weather Dude channel. Okay, everybody, bye now.
Hey, everybody. Breaking news. My YouTube channel, Dogs Who Wolves, now has reached up to 300,000 subscribers. I repeat, my YouTube channel, Dogs Who Wolves, now reached up to 300,000 subscribers. Now I have 300,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel as of right now for Franktown.